All right, let's go. All right, I'm back. This is part two to the last to the first podcast because I do got a lot more to say on about that, and I'm gonna continue off what I was saying about with the Gears Three. Um, first of all, number one, let me give a shout out to Deidre Richardson for putting that beautiful piece, an article of Sam Mobile about the Galaxy Note 7, and it was well written, well awesome, and all that. I know it before all this fiasco, but from what I've told and what I've been hearing, the phone is still a great phone, and people out here, it's just a selective few that's out here making a big argument about it, and those people basically hate an OEM or a brand that basically hasn't done nothing to anybody. Just a bunch of sissified wussies that's got their panties all caught in a bunch. Don't really know anything, or or they crying about like you just hate Samsung, or just the fact of the matter when it comes down to the Note 7 that I'm not going to go ahead and pay no 850, 924, almost $1,000 and stuff like that. Let me give y'all a little history lesson, a reality check. Money comes and goes. You know what I'm saying? I see when it comes down to this technology game, it always gonna come down to money. And I'm a type of person, as well as a few of my other associates, we the type of people, we spend our money, we want to spend our money on the best that's out there. We don't want no second or third rate half-ass um, handset or device for that matter that's not going to do the requirements that we need for it to do. Period. And if it means the note, it costs like $850 like that, so look what you paying for. It's basically the most secure phone on earth because not only with like most Android phones, you got the password, pin, and pattern to unlock it, along with the fingerprint scanner, which by the way works wonderfully. But now with the Note 7, you got an iris scanner, which works all the time. You know, so it's really no problem now. It's really no problem now. This ain't like iPhones that get hacked all the time. But I'm not going to be going in no flame war between Samsung and Apple because this isn't about them. I've already talked about them. Y'all know all the Apple heads, that's their holiday for tomorrow. But either go, regardless of the fact, I'm still going to get the Note 7 and nothing's going to stop me. And I will be getting the Gear S3, either the Frontier or both. And let's get on to that. Now, the Gear S2, when it came out last year, I mean, Samsung is nearly hit the perfection. Now, they come a long way from the smartwatch market game. They've been doing the smartwatch thing since 1999. They were dabbling in that. And a lot of people don't know that. Giving a history lesson, look it up. Everybody think that 2013 is the first smartwatch they came out with. No. If I said they came out in 1999 with it, they did. And that was the Galaxy Gear at the time when it came out with Android. But then they turned around and they start switching over to their customer OS, which is Tizen. By the way, I love Tizen. And that came in 2014 with the Gear S2. Now with the original Galaxy Gear, and I did have that one. I mean, the band was stiff, yes, but then it was things to come. It had the little camera that was in the wristband, things like that. And the reason why is more convenient because your phone ring all the time and you don't want to pull your phone out. It might be somebody that you don't want to talk to or something that's just an annoying notification. Now, I can just go ahead and just look and see who's calling me. It's with just a flick of my wrist. And I ain't mean to sound, you know. And then when they did the redesign of the Gear S2, then the Gear S2 Neo, which was just like it without the camera, and then came with the Android where the Gear Live. I believe Google had caught beef for that. And Samsung just acquired Google's crybaby, and behind they came out with the Gear Live that strictly run Android well. And I've said this for years. Android Wear will never ever be ready for prime time. Never. Tizen is a lot more polished and a lot more better. And it's going to be even more better because more and more developers are now jumping on board. At first, they weren't. And a lot of these same haters and trolls wanted to see Samsung go, because if Samsung leave Android, trust me, Android will fall flat on their face. And decide to stick with Tizen. No, what Samsung is trying to do is create their own ecosystem. The one thing I will give Apple credit on, that they have their own ecosystem. So why not Samsung? I'm not saying they're biting from Apple, but this is something they have down in their pipeline for the longest. But they came with true perfection of a true smartwatch with the evolution of the Gear S that came out in 2014, alongside the Note 4. Okay, Note 4 Klansmen, do not get y'all panties in a bunch either. Ugh. It's the fact of the matter that it was the ultimate badass smartwatch. It had the standalone capability of, I could leave my phone at the crib or leave it at work and still have my calls forwarded to them. On Wi-Fi, on phone number, had his own internet browser. Masterpiece, no doubt. But a lot of people said, because it was like a combination of the Gear S was a combination of the Gear Fit and and sort of like the Gear S2, so to speak. So that's pretty good. But 2015, they really did it when they came out with the round smartwatch in the Gear S2. The rotating bezel sold it for me like that, and that's a perfect smartwatch. Okay, now let's fast forward. 2016, they even did one better with the Gear S3. Samsung hooked up with Swiss watchmakers to come out with the Gear S3. And this is an article here that I pulled from reliably Tizen experts. Because just like all the other Gear smartwatches, yes, the Gear S3 is still running. It's still gonna run Tizen on there. So you know what? People that don't like Tizen, deal with it. That's how you gotta deal with it right now. Now Samsung also said the reason why they made the Gear S3, and two of my biggest complaints about with the Gear S2, that much as I love it, but my two biggest complaints was like this. I mean, both of my watches are 3G. So it's got standalone connectivity, and it's pretty big. I'm a pretty big guy, so I'm 6'2", 239. So and 239. So to me, it looks pretty good though. But even it's a little bit still small. And on top of that, with the battery that was in it, y'all just hold on one second. It was a 250 milliamp battery. Because I pulled you look at the chart on it from Tizen experts, and say infographic that says Gear S3 brings completeness to the Samsung Gear S collection, and it does. It does. Because guess what? Samsung also still gonna support the Gear S2 and the Gear S2 Classic. Because for those particularly ladies, if y'all don't want, because the reason why I say that, because the Gear S3 is a little bit more bigger, and going by the infographics, here's the dimensions for it between the Gear S2 and Gear S3. Gear S2 is 42.3 by 49.8 by 11.4 millimeters. So like this, 42 millimeter like that. You know, the Gear S3 Frontier, particularly 46 by 49 by 12.9 millimeter. That's the size of it. Same with the Gear S3 Classic. Gear S2 Classic is like 39.9 by 43.6 by 11.4. Either way, smaller. You know, both the Gear S2, S2 Classic, both weigh 42 grams without the band. The Gear S3, a little bit more heavier, but that's all right because you know why? Because since it's like 44 millimeters or 46 millimeters, that's basically a man's. That's for men. It's basically specifically to target males. You know, 62 grams. Oh, that's no problem. You know, both got the standard 22 millimeter bands pins, so you can put any type of wrist strap on there. You know, much more improved. The display 1.3 full color always on watch face, which is nice, and it has Gorilla Glass SRT SR Plus. I'm sorry, SR Plus. All this is powered by Exynos dual core 1. gigahertz processor. The Gas 3 is going to be OS is Tizen based Tizen 2.3.2 compared to the 2.3.1 that's found in the Gas 2. The connectivity, the Gas 3 will have, in opposed to Bluetooth 4.2, version 4.2, Wi-Fi. It has its own standalone GPS, which is by GLONASS. The Gas 2 doesn't have its own GPS, and a bigger battery. A bigger battery is going to be in this one. So we're looking at a 380 milliamp battery in the Gas 3, both the Frontier and the Classic. As you could probably see in the picture in this podcast, you probably see a picture of the Frontier. The Classic looks sexy too. Internal memory is going to be 768 megabytes with 4 gigs of storage, same as with the Gas 2. And here's something like that: the Gas 3 does come with Samsung Pay automatically, meaning it's both going to have NFC and MST. Now the Gas 2 also is going to have Samsung Pay as well, but it's just going to be done with thanks to like NFC only. I had an argument with somebody about that, and unfortunately they were right. So my apologies on that. And the durability is made of a special steel, and it's going to be IP68 certified. Your basic water resistant, basic dust resistant, as well as it can stand up against extreme heat and extreme cold. So wow, I mean, they really did a number on this. Now, and we'll have to speak on that. I know the Frontier will. And sensors got accelerometer, gyro, barometer, HRM, heart rate monitor, and ambient light. And the compatibility, yes, it's be running any phone that's got Android 4.4 and above, and RAM. They have 1.5 gigabyte on the smartphone. And on top of that, later on in the year, the Gas 3 will be supporting iOS. Same with the Gas 2. Now, judging by the pictures, and you probably see the picture in the podcast on there of the Gas 3, the Frontier, and and the Classic. It's absolutely gorgeous. You can watch the live video and see it for yourself. And the watch is absolutely awesome. T-Mobile, I know for a fact, they're getting the Gas 3. They're going to get the Frontier because it's more sporty of the two. And here's the thing with the Frontier. that band that you see on there most likely for active, but you can also change them bands too. It had this 22 millimeter band and put like a leather band on there to give you the more classic. Like, you want to switch from your sweats after working out in the gym or whatever, and then throw on the more casual wear or semi-formal wear or whatever like that. Now the classic too is for those guys who like to dress down, but want to dress down, but you still want to show a little bit of panache, you know. But I think, and don't quote me on this, because I think I've seen Samsung pull this off before. They may come out with a Gear S3 Classic that's standalone too. They might have 4G LTE. We don't know, since it has a bigger battery. But I could still pull off that wearing a suit and everything like that with the Frontier. You change the watch strap, the watch bands and stuff. That shouldn't be no problem. Because to me, the Gear S3 Frontier, once you do that, what it signifies to that individual that you bold, you outgoing, and it's not too many people can go ahead and pull it off. I could pull that off with no problem, you know. And the fact that the design, like, no doubt that Samsung nailed this when it nailed it when it came down to it. I mean, the look, the everything on it. I can't wait to when it goes into the stores and I could try them out, and I'm gonna do a live broadcast on them on these watches come Tuesday when they do get them in the store and when they do put them in there, because like I mean like the watches itself is just beautiful, no doubt. They just beautiful, no doubt. And like I said, I have no argument with that whatsoever, none whatsoever. And there's apps already right now. I've been watching now. AT&T, they're the second ones to announce that for everybody who's got AT&T, yes, the Gear S3 Frontier is coming to y'all. Now, I really don't mention AT&T too much. AT&T gonna find a way to screw this up. Now, here's one of the things. AT&T, one of the big carriers in the U.S., have got good news for potential Gear S3 customers. They are gearing up, excuse the pun, to launch the Gear S3 Frontier 4G LTE smartwatch. As reported previously, this was the first U.S. network to support the number sync service, which basically lets you send and receive text as well as make and receive calls just using the same phone number as your smartphone, which I think every carrier need to do that. They said you could also use the Gear S3 Frontier to also manage your direct TV at home without the restrictions of needing your smartphone to hand. Using the S3 Frontier's remote control for direct TV and search for TVs, programs, switch channels, and also access the menu in order to schedule recordings. Oh yeah, I can see some of these guys coming out there talking about saying who are whining about saying they shouldn't have took the IR remote off the note and da 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 and all this stuff. Okay, here's your excuse. What's your excuse on this one? But it also supports AT&T Digital Life app, so you can monitor your connected home directly from your wrist. As of right now, currently, there's been no pricing or availability has been announced at the moment. So stay tuned to Tizen Experts for all your Tizen news, and I highly recommend subscribing to them because they're already writing apps for them, and so that's a good thing. But no doubt, the more I look at it, the more I say, no, I got to add this right here. But both of these devices will be in stores in October. So like I said, so I say to myself, look here, guys, y'all get ready. Best thing y'all need to do, go ahead, get your money up, get your bread up, and be done with it. You know. So, but that's just me. Just want to go ahead and do a follow up on the Gear S3 and on the Note 7. Both of them are going to be stellar devices. Both of them are going to be great. Oh, wait a minute. There's one more thing I do need to talk to you about. And this is concerning Samsung again. You know, Samsung got their footprint in everything, even in the virtual reality. You know, with Oculus, with the Gear VRs and everything, even the latest edition, which I like, they came out with a report saying that don't use, as of right now, don't not use the new VRs with the Note 7. But if anybody that's got them, I think one of my guys had got his Gear VR for his Note 7. And if it works or whatever, leave a comment down in the section of people who got it and they're using their Note 7 with the Gear VR. Let me know. And here's another thing. Alcatel, as y'all know, has a standalone VR eyewear itself, which means no phone, no nothing. But here's something else. The Exynos processor powers that baby. And once again, Samsung's got their imprint on it. You know, you can look that up right there if you want to. But I think that standalone one is going to come to the States very soon, though. I don't know when, but I do believe very soon. So, you know, don't quote me on that. But that's mostly all what I just wanted to report on there to say about that. So this is your main man, Mr. O, part 2 of Tuesday Night Tech. You know, I hope y'all take advice and consideration in it and so forth and so anything. So I'm just gonna bring it to you to the real. And I speak mostly like for everyday people who use these phones for everyday life and the full potential of what you can get out of them. It's just not with the tech geeks or tech heads and all that, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the stuff that they talk about, nobody really will use it. You know, you just need it for your basic things. As long as you can make, receive calls, send, receive texts, take pictures on the fly, take videos on the fly, do your little multitasking, whatever. So with that note, no pun intended, again, I'm signing out. I'll catch y'all tomorrow if I'm there with some breaking news or whatever like that, though. But I got to move on and I got to check some things out as well as a few bills to pay. So this your main man, Mr. O, signing out. Peace out.